Guys, welcome back to Glam Finds, and I am on a real roll with these Lattafas, so I thought, why not do another one? And the fragrance that we're going to be reviewing today is going to be from the house of Lattafa, and it's going to be Lattafa Khashabi. Now, one thing to note is when you want to put the cap back on, you need to make sure that the bottle is aligned with all the leaves exactly where they need to be, and then snap. You also need to know that the bottom screws on and off, and when it screws on and off, you can lose the liquid. So when I got this bottle, it was leaking, and I could not figure out where the leak was coming from, but the bottom was always a little bit wet. So I was like, okay, it's pretty cheap. I don't really care that much. I don't think I lost too much juice. But then one day I realized that the bottom does screw on. So make sure that you have it upside down and make sure it's nice and snug, because otherwise you will pay for it. So let's talk about this scent. This scent is a woody floral fragrance. In the opening, you get this really bright, uplifting burst of bergamot and lemon, and I think it's really, really nice. Once this dries down, you start picking up the floral notes as well as the woods and the musk. The woods and the musk, I would say, actually are always present, but as you kind of dive into the mid, I think the jasmine makes itself the most present. The florals that are in here are rose, jasmine, and white florals. I don't pick up any rose. I just pick up mostly white florals / jasmine, and it is a little bit sharp in the opening, but once you hit the mid, it starts to kind of blend in with everything else. I'm only saying it's sharp because if you do have kind of sinus issues where your sinuses flare up a little bit with certain types of jasmine, this may bother you a little bit. For me, as long as I didn't spray like directly in my line of scent, I did okay. If I kind of went more towards the sides here and on my arms and my neck sides, I was fine. But for the most part, what you're going to get the most of in here is musk and woods. The woods do come off a little nutty, but they're really pleasant. And, you know, this fragrance isn't very similar to a lot of other fragrances, at least to my nose. Again, it starts off pretty bright and then kind of goes into this floral woody fragrance with a nice backbone of musk. And I would say it's pretty inoffensive. It's not sweet. So if you're looking for a sweet fragrance, this is definitely not it, but it is something that I think can be pulled off pretty easily by anybody. In terms of performance, I don't find that this is a very heavy projector. I think you might get an hour and a half or two of a good arm's length projection, but then it kind of sits in closer. And in terms of longevity, I would say maybe around 7-ish hours on average I was getting. You could probably get a little bit more, but for me, I would say I was getting around 7 hours on average. Who can wear this? So this is definitely a unisex fragrance, but I asked one person which direction she thought it leaned. My sister actually told me she thought it leaned a little bit masculine. I would say, though, it kind of depends on your skin. I think it's really down the center, because if your skin is going to be pulling out those florals really hard, I don't think it's going to lean masculine. But also the woodiness in here, I would say, is, to me, one of the more prominent notes. So it really depends, but in my personal opinion, I think it leans right down the center. The only reason that it may lean masculine is because it really doesn't have any sweetness. But in my opinion, anyone could wear it. I don't think people that are looking for something a little more youthful are going to like it, though. That's my biggest disclaimer here, because it's pretty dry. I just want to be completely honest about that. If you're looking for something that's like unique, for sure, but if you're looking for something that's got pretty much any sweetness in it, this is not for you. In terms of where you could wear this, for me, this is all year round work fragrance, business meetings, anywhere where you're going to be business casual. This is something that I would dress up more than anything. And in terms of dress up, I don't mean like ball gown. I mean work, power suit. That's the type of dress up. So you got to wear a tie. You can wear this. I would not dress this down, but you could. And I know a lot of countries honestly wear more like upscale fragrances all of the time, which good on you. I try to wear playful stuff when I'm not really dressed up, just because I feel like it's more appropriate. But if you want to wear something that's a little more elevated when you're casual, good for you. I mean, that's great. But I think that's typically where you would wear a fragrance like this. I don't think it's an offensive fragrance as long as you don't overspray it. And I would say that just be a little bit, cautious, because the jasmine note in the first hour, I would say, if you do have sinuses, may flare them up just a tinge. Season-wise, I think spring, summer, fall are going to be your best seasons. Fall, because that woodiness has that nutty feel that kind of gives me a fall vibe, and I think it did really well when the cold air got it. Actually, it preferred it in the cold air than anything else because it kind of kept the notes a little bit better blended, and it kind of put the floral notes in the background. The floral notes are going to head to the background in the dry down anyways, where you're going to get more musk and woods than anything else. The floral notes are more in the mid and a little bit in the top, but the top, you got more of your citruses. So the way that this transitions, really, when it dries down, if you really care mostly about the dry down, because I know a lot of you guys, by the time you get to where you're going, it's the dry down anyways, musky, woody fragrance. Tons of woody notes, nothing sweet. At least to my nose, I really never got anything sweet. But I think it's really pleasant, really inoffensive, because musky, woody, there's not really a lot of people that don't like that. In terms of compliments, though, I do want to kind of stop here for a second. I wore this a lot, and I did not get any compliments with it. So I feel like I can't sit here and lie to you and be like, oh yeah, tons of compliments. I didn't get any compliments. It's fine. One person asked me what I was wearing, and I told her, and she said, it's fine. So that's like the anti-compliment for me, because I wear something every day, and I'd prefer for all of my fragrances to be like a, knock right out of the park, but this one wasn't it. Would I buy it again? Yeah, this bottle is fire, guys. I love this bottle. It's really nice, and I think Lattafa spent most of the money on the bottle. But the juice is nice. Somebody actually asked me at some point, hey, do you have any Middle Eastern fragrances that are work appropriate? This is front of the line. It is elegant. It is inoffensive. I think the right skin could make this sexy. I just don't think that skin is my skin. I have to just be completely honest. For me, if you were to ask me what fragrance is this the most similar to, because of that kind of woodiness and the citruses up top, although they do kind of die down in the dry down, if they were going for anything, I would say potentially a little bit of a spin-off to Aventus, but it goes in a different direction. Like if Aventus grew up, got a really good job, and had mostly business meetings all day, every day. Aventus didn't want to offend anybody. Aventus just wanted to go in, get things done, and go home for the rest of the day. So that is the closest thing, but I still don't think that it's similar. I'm just saying that's the closest thing, and I think people may make comparison to it just because of the citruses and the woods. And I think people like to compare a lot of things to Aventus anyways, and that's kind of why I brought it up. But once the citruses die off, completely different direction. So even if they were going for that, it's not that. It is really pleasant though, and I think for me, if it got me more compliments or any compliments, it would be one that I reach for more, because I do like the woody muskiness in here, but it doesn't. So, I mean, I just have to say honestly what it is. Do I think it's worth it for the bottle? Yes. And do I think that if you needed a work fragrance that was maybe a little bit more work appropriate, maybe a little less sweet, I think this fits the bill, especially if you are that one person that asked me for Middle Eastern fragrances that are work appropriate. This is the one. Price point, I think it was really close to the $20 mark. That's why I didn't really care that it was leaking when it got here. I wasn't going to be too upset about it. If you've smelled this fragrance, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you got any compliments, because sometimes I wonder if I'm just not on my game or something, and that's why I didn't get compliments for whatever fragrance I was wearing, or if maybe that fragrance just doesn't have compliment getting DNA. You know, it happens. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like this video if you liked it. Be subscribed to my channel. Hit that notification bell to get notified when I drop new videos. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!